Even with a 15 to 20 minute notice, and people are not waiting. Come on, Jim. Hopefully, I don't kick myself off the web. No, I'm not trying to do. Wait a minute. What the? Hello. Okay. This is how I can keep track of some of the conversation, especially if it starts going too fast. Dang it. Sorry, folks. My allergies are like, causing postnasal drip. And it's always worse in the evening time. Hello, Amy. Um, but I was actually thinking that today, yeah, good thing to do, Jim. Today I was actually going to try to pick a song to sing, but between my throat and just every song that I try to think about, excuse me, there's going to be some weird sounds. Every song I start to think about, it's just like my mind said, no, we're going blank. So, Carolina, Canada girl. Um, yeah, I try to do. I'm if I can, on the days that I plan on doing lives, I'm gonna try to make them earlier, in the evening time, like either right after or right before dinner, because some of my fan base go to bed early. Um, Not saying anything wrong about that because hello Eclipse. The other day I just actually the last couple of days I've been falling asleep early except for last night, um, because I'm always trying to I've always got something on my mind. Um, I almost didn't do one today because there was a few things that I wanted to accomplish, but I feel right now if I'm going to be awake past or not getting sleepy by 10, 11 o'clock at night, I'm just going to try to do some of the projects um, as quietly as I can. There's one particular project that's not too quiet because it's basically banging metal into metal to build a outdoor storage shelving type thing. And I've got it down to a pat where it shouldn't take me more than, I don't know, maybe 20 to 30 more minutes, depending on a lot of different things. I'm actually doing pretty good. I mean, except for the postnasal drip, which is a pain in the butt seasonal type deal. But for some reason, this year it's a lot worse than normal, and I don't know if it's because um, we have not had as much rain as normal during the springtime, and here in the fall, or the entrance, or yeah, the entrance into fall is like we've had a couple good storms roll through, a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and if I get more rain than wind, it usually causes the pollen to um, die down. But the one thing I noticed recently is we have a lawn crew come out to do my lawn because I can't keep up with it, and my equipment is like, okay, I can do like a quarter of my lawn, quarter to half of my lawn. Then I have to stop and recharge the batteries. which is not a big deal. I don't mind. It gives me a chance to break or use a different tool that uses a different battery. But it's just the lawn crew. They don't bag the trimmings, so what I end up having is grass pollen, basically drying grass, because that creates more of an issue for me than just straight up, like if nobody cut it. So that's part of my issue, because it's my main allergen is grass pollen. Not very many flowers bug me. It's the grass. It's the mold created by the grass. So it's mostly a grass problem. And I know I've had people go, "Why don't you move back to Arizona or someplace drier?" No, thank you. Those T-shirts that you can buy at the Phoenix Airport, where it says, "But it's a dry heat," is, yeah, exactly that. It's a dry, desolate, suck every bit of moisture it can from your skin type environment. And I'm like, no, no. I'd rather live in like Colorado, where the grass. Well, I've never been near around Colorado when people start mowing lawns and whatnot, but Colorado's got a not so dry, not so humid, perfect type of environment for me. It's just during the wintertime, it's too cold for mom. And after looking at expenses and whatnot, we found out it's actually a little more expensive to live in Colorado than it is where we are now. So we're just trying to rearrange the house, revamp the house a little bit, so we all can be a little bit more happier with the environment. So it's also one of those, like, okay, how much do we want to stay in here, because we've had plumbing issues. Thankfully, we have not had electrical issues, because if we started having electrical issues, I'd be like, I'm out. No, 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 no. You know, and there was a house in Salem, Missouri, that would have been like, we all fell in love with it. Nice big backyard. Nice, it was like a little bit. I think it was a little bit over an acre, like a 1.5 acre property. So it was like there was enough room to grow. And what I mean by grow is tiny house for mom, because she wants to live with but not on top of us, which I can understand. I mean, it would have had room for that. It would have had room for, let's say, a camp trailer or something like that to sit. And then it still would have had enough property for like a dog run, raised garden bed. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if you know what a raised garden is, but because we have rabbits and raccoons, it would have been like a greenhouse, but everything would have been up off the ground, so the critters couldn't get to it, including the birds. So I would have been able to have like an herb garden, or grow things like carrots, tomatoes, mostly like carrots, potatoes, romaine lettuce, or some kind of lettuce. So, well, Jerry's the only person here that really likes tomatoes. I mean, I like my tomato sauce and tomato paste and jarred sauce. Actually, did we make it? Well, we doctored it. We took a traditional tomato sauce from, yes, cucumbers. I would love cucumbers. Watermelons, I don't know. But we got a jar of traditional tomato sauce from the pantry. Hello, Nelly, Bluegrass. I saw you guys there. So we took the traditional spaghetti sauce, and we kind of like fried up some diced peppers and onions that we got frozen from the food pantry, and kind of doctored up that jar of tomato sauce. And we made, well, mom didn't. Mom's not a red sauce person. She likes like the Alfredo. Um, but we made like parm sandwiches, and instead of putting, traditionally you're supposed to put the tomato sauce on the parm sandwich, but instead we left it off to the side, put it in separate jars, and poured a little bit. Me and Jerry poured a little bit in like these little ramekins, so we can just dip our parm sandwiches in there. So yeah, you're not late because I'm starting to realize that, you know, if I do a live earlier, everybody can make it without being late. But yeah, I was gonna sing. The first thing I was gonna do was sing when I got on here, but every song that I can think of, either my brain went blank or I just you know, couldn't keep up with the words. Because I was gonna try to sing. I can't imagine. Um, or I was going to sing. I forgot what the other song was. What? Yeah, I can only imagine was the first one. The other one was um, one of my favorite songs from the '80s that used to come on the radio, over the radio on the bus to school. It was like every morning it was on. I don't care what Joni's doing. Joni can do whatever she wants on her channel. Um, but mom, I don't know if mom's participating. Joni's supposed to be doing. I can read some of them. Yeah, most of them. Sorry. Um, Jerry, join the chat. Join the chat. Can't speak all of a sudden. Yeah. Um, but no, I was thinking about trying to sing a song that was easier. Um, there was a couple songs that I was thinking about trying to memorize to sing, and I was like, well, I don't know if people would understand the band. Well, it's not the band that's hard to understand. It's more like the tone, because the band is called Brothers of Metal, and they're from Sweden. And yes, they dress up in leather and fur. And even though their songs are the old people, the old ways, the old belief system. Not, well, not all of them, but most of them. I think they're a very good band because they're mixing folk with modern day metal. So it's kind of like an interesting combination. And beings, I want to get paid for my videos, for your viewership. I hate to say for your viewership, but if I were to play the actual songs instead of trying to sing to them, I would not have revenue. Assassin's Creed. I'm sorry, Becky. I'm just going to correct you for a second. Yes, I do play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I have not in a while. I liked it. I liked the character. I like some of the armor and whatnot, armor sets and whatnot that they have. Um, so it's like I fell in love with Assassin's Creed, um, the very first one that came out in the Middle East, and their purpose was to protect certain secrets and whatnot. Um, but Valhalla was my most favorite, not just because it was a Viking type, genre, but because I could understand it a lot. But I can understand the storyline. Um, I liked the second Assassin's Creed with Ezio Autero, and being in Italy, then into the Turkish area. But I did not like Union. Syndicate was hard but interesting. Not just because their equipment was more kind of up to date to their timeline, but because Union and Syndicate had a total change of gameplay, and I was just kind of like, you just made this very hard for me. But then I liked the Assassin's Creed Origin, and then, well, where there was a Assassin's Creed. I don't know if it was Origin, but it was in Egypt during time of the pharaohs, and then the other one, and I can't remember this one. That one, the actual name of it, it's in during Greek times. But when it came out with Assassin's Creed Valhalla and the gameplay switched again, but it was easier to understand and cope and work with the gameplay. And one of these days, probably within the next couple of days, Jerry's going to have to find a way to entertain or get Oreo to fall asleep, because I'm going to want to play Assassin's Creed. Started all over, not again, but all over the second time, because I know I missed a lot. Because that's the way I play. I play to go through and do the main campaign mission, and then the second time around, I'm going through and I'm doing everything, which takes me a whole lot longer, but it beefs up the character a whole lot better. There is word that they are coming out with a new Assassin's Creed that's supposed to be, you're supposed to be a Ronin or a ninja. I can't remember, but it's in feudal Japan. And I just went, whoa. They took me from Valhalla to Japan. Two cultures that I'm very interested in. One because of ancestry. The other one is because the Japanese culture is very, very understandable, and it's one of those. The language is difficult. I'll say that much, because I'm trying to learn Japanese. But the whole idea of, you got a shogun, he's your boss. If the shogun that you follow dies, you become a ronin, unless another shogun takes you under his wing or under his household. So yeah. Yes, I actually, whoops, some of my hair is wanting to go forward. Actually, me and Jay was joking not too long ago. I think it was last week, about starting to like comb it and shape it and beat it and the whole thing. So yeah, I'm getting ready for beads. I've tried to system it while playing, but for some reason, between internet issues and internet issues when I go online. If I try to do anything online, luckily for me, Assassin's Creed is not online, and unless you're set it up to be online, or you're. Now I don't know if they did this with Assassin's Creed, but they did this with Assassin's Creed Union, and it was basically you can play against each other, or you can form groups and go after each other with groups. I prefer. I'm not a big P versus P. That's basically player versus player. I'm more of either let's have a group get together and just go through dungeons and raids and various types of hey, let's get a bunch of newbies and help them beef up their equipment type deal. I think that's one of the reasons why I've been becoming high demand for playing at nighttime, because we're not that we're splintering our group, but we're doing like we're getting all the low-level characters together and taking them through some of the low-level dungeons and raids and whatnot, so they can get, character, better equipment, increase their character level, so they can get better. Where, depending on what kind of character you are, depends on what kind of talents you have. Hey, Marguerite. I was surprised to see you were having a live earlier this week. Nice to be with you. I keep on telling myself, and I keep on telling people, I want to do like every other day, do a live, and then try to do a vlog on the days I'm not doing a live. And being things are becoming more, how would I put it? Less stress, more organized, more controllable, so I can deal with things at my pace. And every so often, yeah, Jerry has to, hey, you want to do this? You want to go out in the kitchen and do this? You want to go and finish up that? Do you want to go finish up this room? Things like that. And I'm like, some days I'm like, yeah, sure. Other days I'm like, I'm not feeling it. This morning I wasn't feeling it because I was feeling icky. And, well, here's a funny thing, okay? There are some days I wake up, I'm fine and dandy, I'm ready to go. And then there are other days like today where I woke up and I was just like, ugh, why do I feel like death ran over? I got plenty of sleep, I got good sleep, but I just felt like I didn't want to do anything. My sides were hurting, and that's probably from laying on them wrong. Sorry. I thought I was going to cough. And then like today, like the other day, yesterday, I woke up and I was in a fairly good mood, and I basically went to town and cleaned from one side of my kitchen, from the kitchen sink this way, try to wipe everything down, and just all the kitchen counters. There's nothing on the kitchen counter unless it's waiting for a component to go away, or like I have a memo pad so I can write. I'm writing down things that I find that we need for household stuff, like dishwasher pads and milk and eggs, and there was one other thing written on it. Hello, Rebecca Ivy. So I felt accomplished yesterday. Of course, I woke up feeling like, anybody get the license plates of the fleet of Mack trucks that just ran my butt over? And that's how I felt. And and this morning it was just like, I felt like I got ran over by the fleet of Mack trucks. And then, granted, because I wasn't feeling so great, and Jerry wasn't feeling so great, and I think Mom was probably the only one who was normal, or her version of normal. So I reheated a piece of quiche for Mom. I made, Jerry asked me to make a protein coffee shake, and I think the protein shake was a little on the old side. And I didn't even feel like making myself anything. I gave the dog, I don't remember what I got the dog. I'm sorry. But I ended up having a bowl of cereal, and Jerry was like, that's probably why you're not feeling good now. Because I ate that bowl of cereal, and a few minutes later, or an hour or two later, I was feeling the, and I went in and I crashed. I went to take a nap and crashed. Peppermint patty. No, I'm not filming in slow-mo. It could be my internet being goofy again. It could be something on your side. I don't know. I never record in slow-mo. sometimes, a lot of times, it's internet connection. But anyhow, after my nap, I felt and I did my blood sugar test, and it was 145, and so that's probably on Peppermint's side. Um, but I got out of bed, I did my sugars, and saw how it was higher than normal, and so I came out here and had myself a PB&J sandwich. Bread might not have been good for me because of the carbs, but I ate that. I waited until my stomach decided what it was going to do because sometimes I never can tell. And when I realized it wasn't going to be upset or anything like that, I put on my Brothers of Meadow music. Went to town on cleaning dishes, started laundry, and I was feeling good about it in the whole 9 yards. So, well, I've got a semi-southern draw, so who knows? But it's now after 7 o'clock, 7:30. Um, I'm actually feeling better. I have these mix-ins that are basically they're caffeine boosters with very low to no sugar, and I drank one of my big cups. I don't know if those cups are 32 ounces or not. Um, Jerry might know if they're 32 ounces or more. The big cups that we have, Jerry, if you're listening, the like the tall orange and white ones. I don't know how big they are, but I drank a whole thing of that, and I'm feeling good. In fact, I don't know if I'm going to. Well, today's Tuesday. Today's a rating night, so I probably won't do much else except for that. And if I don't, like I said earlier, if I don't feel sleepy by 11, I'm probably just gonna go the white one, Jerry, the white one. I'm probably just gonna go and try to do some quiet work in the front room. Um, so yeah. Hey, Corey. Yeah, it's 7:30 ish, and the sun's going down already. You know, what is it? Is it after summer solstice or fall solstice, autumn solstice? It's one of the solstices that, and I think it's summer solstice is when the sun starts going down earlier. Yeah, this. Um, okay, the orange one is 42 ounces, 40 ounces. Okay, the gray one is 32. So, the gray one, which is 30 ounces. Um, but yeah, yeah, this summer went by fast. It's kind of funny because certain times of year seems to go faster than others. Um, I want winter. I literally want winter because I am tired of the heat. Now I know Mom doesn't want winter, but I'm pretty sure Mom is tired of the extreme heat. We've been having a heat wave. We reached mid 90s today. Last time I looked, it was 93, and that was like 11 or 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, my dog likes peanut butter, and Jerry eats a lot of peanut butter. Um, Now, Corey, where are you from? Because you're talking about humidity, and I know we get humidity here in Missouri, but There are other states like Alabama, Georgia, Florida, um, Louisiana, Mississippi. They get some extreme humidity. Yeah, I'm with you there, Margaret. I love winter. The only thing about winter I don't like is having to shovel my driveway. Otherwise, you know, I don't. I have no problems with it. 105 tomorrow in Jersey. Get out of town. Mama Nature must be having a menopausal mood swing. It's the only way I can put it. Um, um, well, Carolina Canadian girl, I'm going to say you're up in Canada. So I'm surprised you're having humidity unless you're living close to the Great Lakes. Um, okay. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I don't like humidity and I don't like Arizona desert is because the humidity and the desert weather can be very unhealthy for just about anybody. It could be even worse for somebody with heart problems, breathing problems, things like that. Well, Nelly, you're up there in is it northwest New York? So you get the lakefront effect. Yeah, it's supposed to Friday. We're supposed to have a rain shower, and it's supposed to start dropping back into the 80s. I just Mom's out here. I just don't know what Mom's doing. Mom, what are you doing? Oh, Mom's on the trivia live with the girls. Um, oh, Western New York. Yeah, so you're close to the Great Lakes region, which means you do get the lake effect. Um, yeah, I figured that much. I wasn't going to say anything, Jerry. Quit yelling stuff out. Um, I'm sorry, I'm just reading everybody's comments to myself. Yes, I am in Canada, and the only province that can be plus 40 in summer and negative 20 in winter. I've lived, I've lived in places like that. Germany, yeah, Germany. Germany, where it's like if it gets 75, people are running around in shorts and t-shirts, and then when winter comes, they're wearing like normal clothes, while me and my mom at the time were wearing thermal underwear nearly 75% of the year. But yeah, humidity is a royal. Yeah, I agree with you, Marguerite. If I had the house that I wanted, or if the wood burning fireplace worked, yeah, I would be cozying up in front of that while watching TV or doing something. So yeah. Let's see here. Bluegrass lover, neither rain nor. Yeah, uh huh. Try saying that while living 13 years in Arizona when it gets to be 125 in the shade. No, that's why I was a night person in Arizona, except for when I had to go to school. But after I got out of school, it was like night job. security guard at night, I'll take that. Because it's like you will not see me outside during the day when it's 100+ degrees unless I had to be. Yes, yeah. The first year we were there, we were in what they call a guest house. And basically, it's a hotel. You have one gigantic room, a public toilet and shower system on your floor, four big rooms, so four different families. And before we got into base housing, Mom had to walk me to the bus stop, and that's where I went. I can't see nothing but white, you know. And it was amazing how these people. I mean, I love the German people. Don't get me wrong. I love Americans too, except for that select few of yeah. But anyhow, we're not going to go there. But between that and living on base during the wintertime and taking Mom's brand new favorite bread pan and using it to make ice blocks, and then not realizing the big old mound of snow at the back end of the parking lot was a VW Bug that we own, my parents owned. We were surprised that the glass didn't break, but the front hood, which is basically the trunk, was indented to by many, many little butts. Yeah, I would not. I would not be surprised if a lot of Europeans, not just Germans, but a lot of the people who lived in the mountains, like Germany, the Swiss Alps, the mountains in Sweden and Norway and Finland, learned how to ski before they went to school. Because one, it's the fastest way of transportation, and two, because of the skis, it helps keep you balanced. Now, yes, the Swiss Alps border Germany. Where is it? The Black Forest is in Germany, Austria, I think Switzerland. But I know the Alps of Switzerland border and connect to Germany. But there was actually one time when we were in Germany, and I never said anything to my parents about it because it was like, how long are we going to live there and deal with this kind of weather? But I was like, I had seen some people with snowshoes on, and I was like, wonder how hard it would be to learn how to walk in snowshoes. But I know the old school, back as far as the 800s, they would during the wintertime they take these blocks and just flat, not like ice skates, but these flat bottom blocks, and tie them to their shoes so they can combination of slide across ice and walk through snow. And it was kind of fun. Black Forest, no, Black Forest, Germany. It's an area of Germany that had the thickest, densest, scariest kind of woodland of Europe. And I never got to see it. You know, there's all kinds of weird stories and tales of witches and ghosts and things that go bump in the night, you know. Yeah, basically horror film stuff. I mean, if you're from the area, it's probably not horror stories, horror or horror movie type stuff. But if you're like an American or somebody who doesn't know, the story or stories and whatnot that are supposed to scare little kids to behave and whatnot, as an adult, it probably would be like, oh, this is cool. A little scary at nighttime because it's pitch black, but you know. Have you ever watched the modern day Hansel and Gretel, where they're hunting witches and things like that? I like that movie. Do I miss Germany? I miss what I knew from Germany as a kid, because I was barely in my preteens when we left Germany, and we we lived in an area called the Hunsrück Mountains, or Dogback Mountains, which basically it got the worst weather you can think of all year, just about all year round. That's why people, if it got in the 70s, people were outside enjoying the sun in shorts. Me, on the other hand, would be outside in a pair of pants and a long sleeve shirt. But yeah, I mean, I miss the fun. I miss seeing the castles and the various sights, and you know, I don't think I'd ever drive the switchbacks that often. I mean, we had good stuff. We had a good time there. People were friendly. They loved American, military personnel as well as tourists, which is kind of funny. I have a funny story connecting to tourism. But yeah, there are times I wish I had the ability or chance to go back and take Jerry with me so she can see the sights that I saw and all that. Probably even like land in Stuttgart or Frankfurt. Probably land in Frankfurt, get on a municipal airport, like what my wife likes to call a Buddy Holly killing plane, and fly from Frankfurt to Zorn, the old air base. Basically, turned it into a municipal airport for the German people when the Americans pulled out. But yeah, I would love to take her on a tour. Um, well, let's put it this way: being born in the Philippine Islands, don't remember much except for stories from my parents, because I was like 3 years old or something like that when we left Philippines. Um, yeah, Philippines to Gerald, Missouri. From Gerald, Missouri to these are places I don't remember. Gerald, Missouri to Utah, and then Utah to Tucson. And I remember a little bit of Tucson. I try not to remember anything about Arkansas and Germany, and then Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. And when we were in Phoenix before Dad died, it was Phoenix, East Phoenix or West Phoenix, Mesa, Paradise Valley. Dad died in Mesa. Mom and I moved to Paradise Valley because we didn't want to be in that house no more. And then we came out here for a funeral for one of my mom's aunts or cousins, I can't remember, and we were sitting on real grass under a real tree going, why are we dying in Arizona? And that's when we moved back here to Missouri. And then Missouri, it was Sullivan, Missouri, Jerome, Missouri, Rolla, Missouri, St. James, back to Rolla. I went to New York, got married. Mom came out for a short period of time, couldn't handle it, came back to Missouri. Jerry's father passed away, and then we decided to move here to Missouri to basically be able to keep an eye on Mom's health and well-being. So yeah, I've been to a lot of places. Um, place that I've lived with the rudest people, I'm gonna have to say New York. And I don't mean the whole of New York. I mean like New York, Long Island area. Southern New York. I've gone up to to central New York for a concert, and people were nicer than the city folk. So I can definitely say the city folk of New York were probably about the rudest. And I think that's probably because of all the stress from all the people crammed into a five borough, area. I mean, Manhattan alone is like 1 million people. So you can think of Manhattan just by itself with all those people crammed on basically an island. And I'm like, I wouldn't want to live here. And I lived out on the islands, I lived in Nassau County. But even in Nassau County area, it was just like, oh my God. People trying to cross the street and other people, cars are ignoring the fact that they're in a crosswalk. It's like, oh, the light's not red. Dude, you could have just hit that lady with a baby, that's why I joke about, New Yorkers would run over their own mama for $1. And that's New York City. I mean, where Nellie lives up north, it's a whole different scene. I mean, yeah, it might be expensive, but the people are nicer. They don't want to hurt each other just because they're running late because they can't manage their own dang time. So yeah, let me go back a little bit. Bluegrass says my Oma had her 97th birthday last week. Well, congratulations and God bless to her. I mean, 97. I had an aunt die before she turned 100. That's only because she broke a limb, a hip. They had an Oktoberfest party for her. Stupid live German band had hard to not laugh. Yeah, in those pants. Accordion player, beer made it bearable. Yeah. Yeah, I think, it's funny because a lot of people are like, oh, beer can make people mean. And I'm like, well, that's American beer, okay? American beer is just nasty. Get an authentically brewed in Germany beer with that nice thick lager head. And yeah, but I can imagine going. I've never gone to Oktoberfest anywhere. There's a couple times that we knew of a place in New York that we were going to go for Oktoberfest and we never made it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not much of a beer drinker. Give me wine, give me mead. Certain kinds of beers are hard ciders, yes, but American beer, no, no, no. Unless the label on the bottle says "Made in Germany," I'll try it. Opal passed. Oh, I'm sorry. After her second beer, I was after my second. Yeah, I mean, I warn a lot of people. You got to drink an authentic, crafted in the country alcoholic beverage. I don't care what it is: beer, wine, brandy. Yes, I've had brandy. If you're drinking something from America, it's like how many American beers can you drink before you get tipsy? In Europe, it's like that's your second beer. How you feel? Feeling a little tipsy? Sit down, eat, you'll be fine. Because it's like When I brung to my brother-in-law, my younger brother-in-law Robert, when I went there, I brung some Norwegian mead. And this is mead that's in a ceramic corked bottle. Okay. And I had brung two of those. My father's been dead since 86. Yeah, 86, I do believe. He was 46 years old when he left. The thing is I took those two bottles. And I said, get a bunch of cups. And I poured just, that much into each cup. And I was like, go ahead. They're like, what's this? I'm like, it's mead, authentic mead. I had one nephew, basically. Yeah, he'd be a nephew. Take a swig and went, oh my God, what is this? And I said, it's mead. It's made with honey, and it's from Norway. And this is the stuff that they drink for parties. This is God's. I said, this is the God's brew. And you're like, oh man, how can you stand that? I just looked at him and went, the bottle I can tell just by swishing it around was half full. And I just laid back a good long tug. And they're looking at me like, you okay? And I'm like, right as rain. And I'm like, see, this is the stuff of warriors. This is not the stuff of pansies. That kind of got my nephews and one cousin to drink their whole cup, basically their whole amount that I gave them, a shot worth. And they were like, oh, this stuff is like potent. And it was like, yeah, this is something you don't drink standing up unless you know how to handle it. And one of the things I really wish, that could have had a mead horn. Because I would have one of these big old long horns, and you just pour it in there and you just start drinking it. There is a song from the Brothers of Metal, and it's called the Mead Song. And it's a very interesting song. We had a shot of peach brandy. Oh yeah, peach. Well, I've never had peach brandy. I've always had like blackberry, blackberry brandy. So yeah, exactly. I mean, you can tell the difference. You come to America and you're like, yeah, this is a little weak. You go to Europe and drink a beer and it's like, wow, they got a brewer. They got a real good brewer. Oh, red brandy. That's either cherry brandy or I think they got a raspberry brandy, but I'm not sure. So it's like, that's a good brandy. I've never had cherry brandy. Like I said, it's mostly like I've had a blackberry brandy. I think I had a currant. They call it currant brandy. Yeah, well, Canadians brew it just like the Europeans do. We go through so many different forms of purifications and boil downs and like I watched a guy who makes his own brandy, or not brandy, his own mead. And he takes this one big cylinder to heat up and solidify the honey and mixer for like hops or cloudberry or basically whatever additive they're going to put into it, whether it's mead or some sort of fruit or some sort of spice. And it goes through that process, then it goes into another tub or beaker, whatever you want to call it, gets chilled, a rapid chill. and by the time it's done being chilled and whatnot, and it gets poured into its container, storage vessel, whatever, it's done. Three basic steps. Here in America, it's like you got this big old thing to melt down the hops, boil it and cook it, and it comes over here and it adds this and that, and it comes over here, adds a whole bunch of other, and by the time it's done, it's got it it doesn't head when you pull it. Because if you take a European or Canadian beer and you pour it and it does not form a thick head that you either have to blow off or something like that, your beer is no good. It's all fluff, you know. So it's kind of like, nah, nah, no. Bud Light, yeah. Even regular Bud, no, it's too processed. Because, I mean, I don't want to say I'm a hardcore drinker because I'm not. But, oh, your grandfather made wine. That's awesome. I feel that if you take a drink and it does not have this 5 minutes afterwards, you feel like you just got hit in the jaw. It's not worth drinking. It's basically piss water. And that's what most Europeans think of American beer. That's piss water. That's not a beer. That's just, no. But what I remember of Germany, my father used to go down the hill to a town called Zell. And at Zell, they had Schwarzkatze, Black Cat, is the brewery. And he used to go down there and get like samples of the new wines that were coming out. So I guess it wouldn't be a brewery, it'd be a winery. They didn't make beer, they just made wine. But there was one time I went with him, and the proprietor of Schwarzkatze knew how to speak English, as well as like 3 or 4 different other languages. I think he was the main guy that did distribution to different countries, and America might have been one of them, or he was trying to get America to be one of them. But my dad was like, "Yeah, I'll take samples," you know. And my dad was sampling, and you know how, if you've ever been to a wine sampling, you take a tug or a sip of, yeah, a sip. A tug would be a long draw. You take a sip, swish it around, spit it out, rinse your mouth out with just regular straight up water, and okay, and write down your opinion. And they wanted my dad's opinion because he was an American. And at the time, they were like looking at me, going, "Here, try this." I'm like, I looked up at my dad, like, "Is it okay?" And the gentleman was like, "It's a low-level alcoholic beverage." Like, it was being made for children in Germany, and it was sweet. It was like a sweet, I would almost say grape juice level with a little tinge of alcohol. But that was my first time sampling wine, so it was one of those like, this is interesting. That's all right, bluegrass. I'm probably ain't even worth the property that it's built on. The movie Vikings. Okay, are you talking about the TV series on History Channel called The Vikings, or is this something else? Yes. It's called the mead horn, and they basically drink mead or what they call homebrew. And basically, like every household had a recipe of their own to create a homebrew beer or ale, which is what they drank on a regular day. Mead was considered a celebratory drink, let's say a wedding, a funeral, some sort of special holiday. They got a new king, or their new king had a son or child, or whatever. But mead is more of a celebratory drink. Now here in America, we don't care if we like it, we're going to drink it. I haven't been to the local liquor store lately where I used to get my mead. I kind of dropped it cold turkey because it. Thank you, hon. Because of the sugar level. I actually want to talk next time I see my primary. I want to talk to her and ask her about it because Oreo. My dog's barking at nothing again. Oreo's looking out the window, barking at, I guess, the neighbors because they're out and about, and I'm about ready. Excuse me, folks. Hey, come on, get out of there. Nobody wants to hear you barking at this time of night. Oh, I see. One of the neighbors just pulled up. Yeah. Yeah, folks. Ouch. I'm gonna be getting off. I've been here for an hour, and I'm gonna go ahead and get off. But before I do, maybe I'll try to do a vlog where I sing something and not worry about the income from it. But it's time to put her to bed. I need to let her outside so she can go to the bathroom. Yeah, I I'm going to try to. Well, I know I've been trying to get into the Bible to get something for Sunday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I don't know if I have anything to do, so if I decide to do like a blog, I will try to sing something. Depends on how I feel, because like I said, today I was going to, but then my brain went, nope, nope. So, Jerry, I have no idea what those symbols are. But if they're laughing symbols, look who's laughing. No. Anyhow, I will see you guys soon, I hope. So I will, I'll be around. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week if I don't see you. Until then, bye.